Hey everybody, it's Sunday, February 9th, 2014, and today we are going to talk about beard oil and all that other good stuff with Eric Bandholz over at beardbrand.com. And instead of going over the basics of his business and kind of reinventing the wheel, I've linked to two resources where he goes over the basics of his store. One is on ecommercefuel.com. He was on Andrew's podcast, I think a couple of months ago, maybe a few weeks ago. And the other one is on the Shopify blog. And kind of in both articles, he goes over the nuts and bolts of his story, how he got started, and getting the initial traction. So I won't kind of regurgitate everything on this podcast, but instead we're going to focus on some high level stuff in terms of building his brand into something bigger and expanding the business beyond 80,000 revenues per month. So before we start, I also want you to check out a recent podcast episode on Radiolab, and they actually detailed what happens behind a fulfillment center. So being an e-commerce guy and with you in this space too, I think it's pretty interesting in how this journalist applied for a job at a 3PL. She went through the hiring process, talked about what was going to happen, what happens on the job, picking orders, in the warehouse, what's it like running around, and how the whole infrastructure works. So it's very fascinating. Although after listening to it, I'd probably put working at a fulfillment center one of the top 10 worst jobs ever to do. So check it out if you got time. I'll link to it in the show notes. And finally, before we start, the mastermind group for March will kick off. I'll be running another group. So if you're a store owner that's looking to work through some business problems with other folks in the same boat, sign up for the mastermind email list where I'll publish some more information along with how to get tickets. So even I've learned myself something on these calls too, like how to use Photoshop better, all these kind of things. So how does it work? Well, every 2 weeks I do a Google Hangout led by me that lasts for about 2 hours. And then each participant gets about 20 to 25 minutes to talk about a business problem they'll have. So what happens is someone will say, hey, I'm trying to change this about my marketing. And then we'll just go round table. Everyone gives their feedback. You get 20 to 25 minutes of just pure time for yourself. And then we just go around the table and that's it. And we do it every 2 weeks. So if you're struggling with something, and this sounds like something you could need help with, check out the Mastermind tab over at buildmyonlinestore.com. And let's get started. Don't deliver a product, deliver an experience. You're listening to the Build My Online Store podcast, and I'm your host, Terry Lin. We're here to talk about running an online store and building a strong e-commerce brand to take your online store to the next level. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to check us out at buildmyonlinestore.com. Let's get on with the show. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Today I've got Eric Bandholz, the founder over at beardbrand.com, where we're going to talk about beards, oils, and making products. Eric, what's up, man?
How's it going?
It's a classic, what up, internet, right?
Yeah, what's up, internet?
So how'd you come up with that phrase when you were starting out? Because that's kind of your signature spiel whenever you do your YouTube videos or anything.
I don't know. I just think what could be the most ridiculous intro that I can think of for people to hear? I don't know.
But I guess it's really caught on too, huh? Since you've been doing this.
Yeah, the YouTube channel is doing all right. Got just under 10,000 subscribers right now, and coming up on 1 million views. So I'm at 750,000 views, something like that. I haven't checked lately, but it's been fun. I like connecting with my audience and my viewers. And I don't know if you do videos or not, but when you're just filming yourself alone in a room, it's kind of weird to just talk to a camera. So kind of got to visualize you're actually talking to someone.
Yeah. All right, so it kind of helps out with that, getting the energy right to record a video and all that stuff.
Absolutely.
All right, very cool. So let's just go over your business real quick. So, I'm going to link to a couple other podcasts you did about Beardbrand, but really quick, I know you guys sell beard oil when you guys first started. How has the business kind of grown since then in the past year?
It's been amazing. We just hit our 1 year anniversary. What's today? The 30th. So 2 days ago. And we started off with zero and essentially no investment at all, and just bootstrapped our way up to looks like we'll be doing $80,000 a month this month. Hopefully we'll continue that pace and do $1 million this year, or maybe even a couple $1 million if we're fortunate.
I understand you guys started with beard oil first, right? And how did you guys grow in the product line since then to get to where you are at like 80,000?
We actually started with 3 products, 2 beard oils and a mustache wax that was made by another vendor of ours. What I noticed is we had more sales the more products we had on our store. I guess people just felt a little more comfortable with a website with a larger product line. So what we did is we just continued to find products that kind of fit our match, as well as worked on developing our own products in-house. It's just a gradual pace that we've done over time. Everything's been small incremental improvements month over month. And, looking back, you can kind of appreciate all that you've accomplished, but when you're in the moment, it just feels like you're moving way too slow, and there's so many things to do. And right now, there's so many things that I want to do in the future. And it'll be interesting to look back on 2014 to see what we've accomplished and if we were able to hit a lot of those goals or not.
So why did you partner with other brands to kind of rebrand products into your own line rather than doing everything in-house and say making your own wallets or kind of the leather, wrist wraps, all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so we co-brand with a few different companies, and really, like, I'm all about doing it right and doing it the right way, but I don't know anything about leather. I don't know anything about leather manufacturing. I could do a lot of research, but the time I would invest in developing a really cool leather wallet is time that I could be investing in developing some beard oil or some beard grooming products, which are really our core products is men's grooming for beards. So it makes sense to not invest as much time on that end, co-brand or partner up with a company, and then really focus on our core competency, which is grooming.
Yeah, it's interesting that you mentioned that because you notice Evernote, I don't know if you've seen their store, they're actually selling like wallets and I think iPad cases and like backpacks. So you're kind of doing what you're doing, like co-branding with all these established brands, which kind of, it's easy for them because they just leverage the brand image, and then they get a good product that's already made and designed and tested out on the market.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Awesome, very cool. So when you started out, I understand you had a blog first, right? I believe it was on a Tumblr. Do I have this story right, or am I missing anything?
The story is I went to a beard competition in Portland, had a blast, saw this culture, this movement, and realized no one was really uniting it or engaging it, and I'm not one to wait, so I brought it all together. We actually started off with a WordPress blog, as well as a Tumblr blog and a YouTube channel, and just kind of trying to paint the picture of what a urban beardsman is and what the bearded lifestyle is. And I always had this vision for what I wanted the company to do, but I didn't always have the team in place or the people in place or the drive or just the life things in life that you need in place to, where all the dominoes fall into line.
And did you always want an online store before you started this blog, or?
Well, yeah, actually, I had an online store back in 2008 selling vinyl wall graphics, and that never really took off. It was a lot of work on the upfront, and then once I needed to put my money out there, I kind of froze up, and I didn't know the things that I know now. I think I probably could have been more successful doing that with all the information I know now, but live and learn, right? I mean, the thing for me is I'm an entrepreneur, right? It's not like ever since high school I wanted to own an e-commerce business or own a retail business or, own a grooming business. So like, it's just kind of the way that the path of my life has taken, and all things kind of just point in this direction. And then, fortunately for me, at a point where I got very passionate about something was a point that I could launch a business around it. And it was also a point where the market was ready for something like that. So a lot of good luck and a lot of things falling in line, but at the same time, executing it. We've got hundreds of other competitors selling the same kind of things that we're selling. And it's really our brand building that I think that helps set us apart from every other person and their mother.
All right. And so since you brought that up, what do you think makes your brand different than all the other products on the market?
I really feel like a lot of it is my authenticity and my passion for what I'm doing. There's a lot of people out there who, maybe it's no offense to women. I've got a co-founder who's a woman, but when the head of your company is a woman and you're selling beard care products, then it's harder to speak of that from a first person perspective. Just being able to own it and be passionate about it and live it has been really important for us. And then importance of creating a good looking website and a good looking logo and good looking branding and packaging materials, and all those things are small little details that help establish your brand that aren't going to have, in today's world, everything seems to be social media and knowing exactly what your marketing is doing and exactly what kind of return you're getting for things.
Do you get the feeling that you're the avatar for the brand now, whereas some other competitors are just kind of faceless beard oils with some logo, whereas you actually have your face all over the place?
Yeah, I mean, so we've kind of made a cognizant decision to have me as the spokesman of the company and kind of represent our company, and the Dos Equis man or the Old Spice, what's his name, Mustafa. But I mean, obviously, I'm not at that level. I'm not that charming as those two guys. But try to just create a image of what you can be as an urban beardsman, and what kind of jobs you can hold, and what kind of style you can hold, and how you can take care of your beard. And what has traditionally been viewed as unclean or unkept or just lazy. We're trying to change the image of how society views beardsmen to where it's more of a professional look and a corporate look and a clean look. And, that takes time to change history, but it's just easier for me to do it through myself than, hire an actor or hire some man to photograph for a model or whatever it is.
Yeah. So if you look at the persona kind of yourself as the brand, like how much would you say is like yourself versus say kind of like some aspects of the personality that kind of tweaked to kind of engage with the customer some more?
Yeah, I mean, I think pretty much what you see is what you get. I do tone it down a little bit. A few of my first videos, I was dropping some F-bombs here and there for whatever reason, and telling some inappropriate jokes, and I'll probably throw those in every once in a while. I'm a little more perverse in real life and a little more inappropriate. Maybe I tone it down a little bit. My style and my flair, I think, is exactly who I am.
Yeah, so when did you realize to tone it down a little bit? Because I think when you're recording yourself, you're on video, there's always this incentive to kind of make things over the top, because I guess mentally you think this is what people would like, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what people like. I know what I am. And I'm not a big time swear word user or cuss word user, but sometimes you let them slip up here and there. And I want to say it was like this real big, huge difference for me to tone things down. I would just say I'm a little more cognizant of the audience. And, sometimes these viewers are watching with their kids or, and I had never thought of that until they mentioned it in the comments on YouTube. Like, oh yeah, this joke is not really friendly for an 8-year-old to hear, but hopefully it's deep enough that they don't quite get it.
So if we go into your typical customer a little bit, kind of what's their age range and kind of demographics that you found out to be?
I'm not like huge on the whole demographics marketing aspect, but obviously most of my customers are men, and they're usually age 24 to 44, I would say, maybe even 24 to 34. What are they? Just like your prime professional, prime earner, like just pinnacle of life kind of customer. And we're trying to get, bring in their wives and their girlfriends and their parents to buy for them. So we're kind of trying to open that up. But most of my language is geared toward, young men who are trying to do something cool with their lives.
So you just brought up a good point. When you're trying to get women to buy gifts for, say, the wives, boyfriends, or whatever, like how is your marketing message changing when you're targeting them?
I think it's just a matter of fact of being on places where women are at, like Pinterest, and geez, I don't know where women hang out. That's why I hired Lindsay and Jenny. They're going to know better than me.
Yeah, like I've tried hanging out on Pinterest, and like I just get bored in like 10 minutes. I don't know how women stay there for like hours and hours.
Yeah, I mean, like I could see like the cool thing that's on there, but again, I'm not a Pinterest user either, so it's a little challenging for me to use, and I don't mind delegating those platforms to them.
And so one thing that I found interesting about your business is that beard oils is a very repeat purchase business, right? And so like kind of just to very broadly looking at your business, like what percentage of customers are repeating with you guys?
You're asking a tough question. I don't have those stats in front of me currently. I was looking at repeat orders just the other day, and I would probably say it's in the range of 10 to 20% of our orders are people who have purchased from us before. So we're still like a really small, young company, and there's really just in my opinion, there's just a huge market out there that we're trying to bring in. So we're in this like maximum growth period. Like even if everyone reordered, the company wouldn't be that big. And it's kind of like when your email list is, let's say your email list is only 100 people, and yeah, email marketing does great for you. You get great returns, but you're only going to get 5 to 10 sales from that, and that's all you're ever going to get. So you've got to grow that email list from 100 to 100,000, and we're kind of in that mode where we want to grow our customer base from 0 to 100,000 or whatever, and then we want to really focus on during that process, engaging them and getting those repeat customers. But we're still really in a heavily weighted growth period right now.
Mm-hmm. And I'm just kind of a question out of the blue too. So if you look at your customer base, like how many are actually having beards versus say, wanting to grow beards and becoming kind of like yourself with this crazy, awesome beard?
I think men should wear the facial hair that they want to wear. I think what we're trying to do at Beardbrand is just, we want to make it okay for men to grow facial hair. And if they want to shave, we're okay with them shaving, right? Because I think in the past, it's just been men have worn a facial hair because of society or because of their wife or their mom or their, what they think the girls might like or whatever it is, whatever Gillette's telling them is cool and hip. And what we want them to do is just grow what they want to grow. So if they want just the corporate beard, the scruffed 1-inch beard, go for it. But if they want to go for the yeared, which is a year-long beard, then we want to support them and go for that too. And it makes no difference to me, as long as they're finding contentness with their lives and their appearance and who they are, then I'm down with that.
Yeah, I guess if you look deeper, it's a real bigger cultural movement too, right? Because if you look at the old Gillette commercials, they got this slick guy that's shaving on the TV, and then he's talking to some girl, and I guess we get ingrained with this image, especially kind of guys our age, kind of mid-20s, early 30s, that hey, this is the way to go. But you guys are kind of going the other way.
Yeah, absolutely, and Gillette's getting hammered right now. Like their razor sales are getting crushed, and men are moving toward grooming products, and they don't wake up in the morning, they're like, I've been beardless my whole life, and now that I'm growing my beard out, I'm just not ever going to clean myself or groom or anything like that. So there's a huge market for us to take care of those people as they shift to wearing facial hair that they prefer. But a lot of it is that brand and that image. And early on with our business, we'd get questions about, hey, what are you going to do when this beard fad ends? And people decide to do that. And I'm like, beards are the natural status quo. Like the fad is shaving. I mean, as late as 1890, 90% of men had some sort of facial hair. And then with modern warfare and the successful marketing of Gillette, that essentially went down to zero. What we want to do is just bring it back to normal levels, and hopefully we can be the company that makes it cool and makes people have confidence to wear what they want to wear. A lot of that is marketing and branding and being connected to the brand and wanting to have the image that our company is trying to portray Beardsman as being.
Yeah, it's interesting because if you look at like history, like Aristotle, Plato's, those Greek philosophers, even up to like Abraham Lincoln, all these guys that are like strong characters in history had beards, right? Even like I think Genghis Khan, and then it's only like for the past 20 years that everyone's telling us to shave it off.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like you look at historically the amount of interesting figures. And I think there is, especially in today's culture, that beardsmen tend to be very independent, very freedom oriented, very driven, very individualistic. And those type of people are those that are going to challenge the cultural norms. And those kind of people are going to be those who come up with brilliant ideas. Like, Albert Einstein he wore a mustache. That's facial hair. And, and maybe that will shift. Every man who wants to grow a beard grows their beard out. But I think in today's society where we're at today, it's those people who are really able to challenge the norms who feel most confident wearing a beard.
Yeah. And I think you also see it as a cultural shift with like how people are like opting out of like working 20, 30 years for a company, doing their own thing, whether it's like you and me, entrepreneurship, or just doing random things with the internet. And I think with that drive comes this kind of thing with beards too, in a subsector where, hey, I'll just grow my hair however I want, and fuck you guys if you don't like it. So, you can take it or leave it.
Yeah, absolutely. And the internet has been brilliant for that. It's allowed people to connect with others like them, so that they realize they're not alone. When I grew up in a small town in South Carolina, I only knew the 10 people around me, and I pretty much had to be like them or else I would know no one. With the internet, I'm able to connect with cultures that are just like my culture, but they may be in Scotland or Taiwan or Australia or right across the street from me, from just a higher philosophical level. Like that's good and bad, because if you're a hateful person, you can find other hateful people as well, which is not very good, because you don't want people with hate to have power. But I think the good severely outweighs the bad.
Yeah, like the other day I found a really crazy thing on the internet. Like, so you know how I guess the Gangnam Style guy is like has all these videos, and I guess there's a big subset of people on the internet that are really into like this Korean pop movement. And I was just looking on YouTube, there are these dance groups in like Russia, London, and like I think like Brazil, and they're just doing covers of these Korean pop songs, and these 6 or 8 girls, like these dance teams that are covering these Korean music. I was like, wow, this is so weird. I never thought I'd see this on the internet.
And then when you think about that, like the internet allows your customers to be around the world, which allows you to really build businesses that people in the past would have never thought would be able to exist. Right, because when you're able to sell Korean pop dance videos to people in Russia and Brazil and of course Korea, then your world just opens up. So there's still a lot of hurdles. A lot of governments will put up borders, customs and taxes and duties that make it difficult to service all those customers. But if it was easy, everyone would be doing it. So it's a little bit arduous process, but it's fun. It's a very fun.
Yeah, I'm putting my hopes on Bitcoin for that, but that's for another episode.
Yeah, man, I'm a Bitcoin guy too. But when you're selling tangible goods, I'll send something to Europe, and then they'll pick up the package and they have to pay customs and duties, and they get mad at me, and I'm like, this is your government who is taxing you for simply buying a product in a different country. It's kind of frustrating that things like that happen. But the beauty is, with digital products and digital services like your podcast and people being able to support you, they can pay in Bitcoin, and there's nothing that these governments can do to prevent commerce and transactions and relationships from being built.
So I understand one thing you guys are doing is also kind of partnerships, like with your customers, like brand ambassadors. What's the program with that? Yeah,
so we actually haven't launched it yet. We're still trying to iron out all the kinks. But what we're looking to do is bring in one ambassador per state who really represents the bearded lifestyle, well, the urban beardsman lifestyle. He'll help spread the word of what it means to be professional, to be good in the community. We're going to encourage them to be involved in charities and to kind of be the point of content or contact for other members in that state, learn about bearding and maybe point them to beard competitions and beard grooming. And for that, we'll reward them with some goodies from Beardbrand. We're still working out all the details, but I'm thinking of getting them a nice beard grooming kit, and then send them some beard oil and mustache wax every quarter. I think would be a pretty good exchange, I think.
Yeah, you just give them some free gear, or maybe if it makes sense at some point, give them like the affiliate thing, or I don't know, but just throwing out ideas, right?
I mean, we want to just celebrate them, and we might have like a party in a certain city or maybe a rotating city every year where they can meet the other ambassadors. So each ambassador will only have the title for a year, and then we'll profile them on our website and kind of tell their story and help people get in contact with them and really help, more than just, me out there trying to spread the word, but get 50 people who are more than likely want to be better than me, better looking, better humor, better skills, more charitable, more friendly.
I can imagine a Beardbrand calendar coming for this.
Yeah.
Well, one thing, I'll get into another tangent here, I find interesting is that once someone buys into your oils, is it easy to upsell them into, say, like a wallet or, say, like a wristband or anything like that?
I don't really do any upselling. The strategy we've developed or outlook on our life is we're not really selling at all. I don't care if people buy from us or they buy from someone else. I'm not here. I'm not pushing sales. I'm not pushing promotions. We're here if they want to buy from us, and we'll service the heck out of them and take care of them. But we don't want them buying things that they don't want or need. So it's kind of a weird process. It's almost like an anti-sell. I know my product's good. I know it's great. If you want to test it out, come test it out. We'll take care of you and we'll make sure everything's right. But if you don't want to buy, if you want to go to someone else, that's cool. No worries. If all you want to do is buy our $7 mustache wax and that's all you want, then, that's cool. Or if you want to buy everything on our store, that's cool as well. But, whatever floats your boat.
Yeah, it's interesting because on the internet now, where you're actually being very salesy, people suddenly get this barrier up, like, oh, why are you being so pushy? And
Yeah, and I just think about what I personally like and appreciate. And like my YouTube channel, I don't have any ads on the YouTube channel. I know I could have probably made a couple dollars from that. And I don't, have a pop-up on my website telling you to subscribe to my newsletter. I don't want to create this annoying process. And I know, like from a marketing standpoint and from a business perspective, like all those things, I know all those things will help drive sales and increase revenue and make more money. But to me, there's just more to business than eking out every last nickel, penny, and dime from our customers by optimizing it to the point. So I kind of hold off to what would I like as a consumer, what I like to deal with. And not everyone's going to notice that these are active decisions as to why I don't have a pop-up or why I don't require you to log in to see my store or things like that. Like, we just want to make it easy for you. And if you want it, go with it.
so how are you using YouTube for marketing for the business right now?
Again, YouTube primarily is a way for us to connect with our audience and really help reinforce our brand and what we're doing. And we use it as a tool to help our consumers learn grooming tips for their beards. And you'd think that growing a beard out's pretty easy, but there's really a lot of information you can learn and a lot of knowledge out there that we can share to help make the experience better for people. So kind of a little bit of help with them, and of course a tool to help us sell our products. Although I may be doing our product features on Vimeo and leaving YouTube as solely just kind of building this community and talking about the culture.
Mm-hmm. And why Vimeo instead of YouTube?
Well, I just don't want like my YouTube subscribers to get spammed with just like, because I'm going to have to create a video for every single product on my store. That's 30 videos. I don't want to spam them with 30 videos of just product, hawking, right? So I just kind of want that handled on a separate platform.
Oh, so your products will be on Vimeo, but your marketing, kind of your tips, will be still on YouTube. Is that what I'm getting at?
Yeah, or maybe I could do another YouTube channel that's like Beardbrand products. That's a good idea. Just thought of that.
Yeah, or I guess you could do a separate playlist too. I think YouTube can do that.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess I could like upload it and organize it and stuff and not push it to my subscribers when I post it. I don't know. I haven't fully come up with a plan for that.
And the stuff, you just figure it out as you go along. There's no.
Yeah, I have no idea what I'm doing.
It's funny because I talked to a lot of guests, kind of like yourself. Maybe their businesses are doing 1 million, 2 million, 20 million. The overall theme is that no one knows what they're doing. You figure it along as you go. And I think for someone just starting out, when they look at you, it's like, wow,
Yeah, $80K a month, man. But I didn't know what I was doing to get there. That's for sure.
But I think this is what kind of makes this journey fun, right? As you figure things out and looking for. I mean, you can only tell where you are when you look back, like hindsight 2020 too. So.
Yeah, and I think you're absolutely right. I mean, for entrepreneurs, like that is the drug that feeds into our veins is, the challenges of overcoming things and meeting new hurdles and beating those hurdles and then having higher hurdles. Like, I mean, that's just an incredible experience. And I'm sure other entrepreneurs relate and future entrepreneurs, you guys will experience that as well.
Yeah. All right. And so what do you think will take the business to double, say, from $80K a month now to, say, 160 plus within this year, or say in the next year or so, to double the business?
Yeah. So we are expanding to Europe and Australia this year. Hopefully we'll be able to service those customers better. We're getting hammered in Europe right now with our shipping costs and the duties that they have. So having a fulfillment center over there and being established, I think will be, automatically an additional X number of dollars, a pretty good number of dollars. And then Australia will probably bump us up a little bit. I think they're more used to paying higher shipping rates being over there. But we'd still like to be over there, and I want to make a trip to Australia. A little bit selfish for me. We'll continue to take care of our customers and provide the best service we have. But I think building our Beardbrand ambassador program, as well as doing a PR push, and we're also featuring Beardsman around the world, around the nation, and really telling their story and giving images of other people other than me to show that it's not just me out there who's a professional with a beard, but there's many other of them, and they're doing some really cool things like some really interesting people. So I'm excited to share that, and hopefully we can profile a couple people a month and get it up on our website. So, I think those two things will help get us there. And I think it's going to happen automatically. I just think the word of mouth and the momentum we have going, that it doesn't take much for it to grow.
Have you done any research on how many men have beards, kind of like on a global or US basis? Like, is there any research on this, or?
It's more of kind of like a gut feel for me. And how I figured it, in the United States alone, there's probably 100 million men who can grow a beard. So I think there's like 300 million people in America. Half of those are men, and then of those men, probably 2/3 of them are of an age where they can grow a beard. And then I figure, the whole 10%, your typical startup 10%. Well, if 10% of our market has a beard, then, what is that? 10 million. And then if 10 million people buy grooming, or 10% of that buy grooming products for their beard, then we're at 100,000 people. Or 1 million people, excuse me. I think our market is at least 1 million people in America, and probably another 1 million people across the world.
Yeah. Although I'm sure it's probably much bigger, but it's just hard to get those numbers. But I guess the indicator is that if Gillette's getting hammered on razor sales and they're the biggest companies, there's kind of a trend there too, right?
The proof is in the pudding of the market shifting toward or back towards beards. So hopefully we'll be that company that takes care of beards, and hopefully we don't leave the door open for someone else to come in and do it better than us. So we're working really hard to be that company and hopefully be the brand that is, the Nike of athletics, or the, Gillette of razors.
How do you see kind of the other razors house, kind of like Dollar Shave Club, where they're doing really cool stuff with marketing and branding too, but you guys are kind of advocating, you guys are advocating keeping your beard, they're advocating shaving.
I love Dollar Shave Club. I love their marketing and their pitch, and I think it's totally cool. And then another cool company out there is Harry's, created by the guys of Warby Parker. I love how they're shaking up the market and doing things differently. And probably the three of us have this anti-big corporation, chip on our shoulder, or we just want to we want to change the way society buys products, and we're not happy with the status quo. And they're at it from an established marketplace, really shaking it up and disrupting it, and then we're at it from a brand new marketplace, trying to shake it up as well. So I think they're great. Technically, I guess, shaving versus not shaving, it's slight competition, but, I think we augment each other well. Like the people who will go to Beardbrand, if they do choose to be beardless or shaven, then they'll go to Harry's or Dollar Shave Club, and they won't go to Gillette.
Yeah, I think the pie is big enough with the internet where you can reach everyone, like you said earlier, that it doesn't really matter where, they're kind of technically say competitors, but, everyone's kind of just reaching their own market in their own ways.
Yeah. There's enough. The market's big enough for us all to have a good time, and I'm one of those believers that you can grow the pie. It's not a fixed size of the pie, and you can do that by having superior products and taking care of your customers and doing all the right things, and your pie is going to get bigger. There may be some industries where that doesn't make sense, but pretty much I think the world is your oyster.
Yeah. Exactly. All right, sounds good. So let's just wrap things up a little bit. So ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining in on the show. And Eric, thanks for joining us. You guys can find out more about Eric at beardbrand.com. And Eric, how should we connect with you? Yeah,
you can find me on those websites, email me. I'm also on Twitter at Bandholz, which is my last name, and Facebook as well. Everything is Bandholz. If you search Bandholz, it's me.
All right, man. Eric, thanks so much for the chat, and I'll let you know when this is up, probably in the next 2 weeks or so, and I'll shoot you the link too.
Sounds awesome, man. Thanks for the call.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Build My Online Store podcast. If you want the show notes, make sure to check out the website at buildmyonlinestore.com. And if you got an e-commerce store, every 2 weeks I lead a live mastermind call with about 5 or 6 of the listeners in 2 separate groups where we work openly together and solve a business problem that you have. And we're all there to support each other. So if this sounds like your cup of tea, make sure to check us out at buildmyonlinestore.com/mastermind. Thanks again for tuning in, and I'll catch up with you guys next week.